Yes, yes. Let us know in the chat box. And are you all so excited? Are you as excited as me for these updates, including this beautiful new property that's coming this summer?
I mean, I know
Let me see
I'm
those
I'm
reactions and let me know.
I'm with you. I mean, I don't know. If it's like an excite off right now, Sabrina, I'm right there with you. Same high level of excitement. So let's see
Well,
what
then you
everybody's
can
got to say.
You
Oh
can
my
see the
gosh.
reactions and good that they know how to use them.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you guys. You never let me down with your reactions. I love it. It's Sabrina here with
Amazing.
Spoiled Agent, and I'm here with my friend and colleague, Ashley Gibbs. Ashley is running the show with Hilton All Inclusive across Canada and the United States of America in sales. I feel like you're still maybe the Lone Ranger. Is there another person with you?
So we are just now bringing some folks on board. I'll touch on that a little bit at the end. I'm glad you brought it up. We're finally getting a few BDMs up and running, so we'll be making some big announcements on that in the coming weeks to months. But yeah, I mean, I've been kind of the Lone Ranger is a good way to put it. But listen, we've got a whole team. We've got the amazing Janet Heinz with Hosting Consortia. For those of you that are big with some of the host agencies out there, you probably know her name. We of course have my amazing colleague Gina Johnson. I appreciate you give me the chance to give a shout out to everybody else. Head of our destination weddings and celebrations department, and then of course the behind the scenes magic worker with all of our main wholesale partners, which are a big part of not only us here at Hilton All Inclusive, but obviously you guys as well. Myra Briseño, and all led by Sergio Ruiz Piqué. So we have a nice little team here built for all inclusive at Hilton, but I am happy to say that I'm usually the one that's doing a lot of these wonderful presentations, and I would never let anybody else do these spoiled agent seminars because, again, as evidenced by all of the amazing reactions and emojis, and what are we at almost 80 in the chat at this point? Come on, guys, the best audience in the industry. So excited to be back.
Thank you. Okay, you saw that live on camera. He promised he's always going to do the webinars with us, even if his team gets to be 25 absolute amazing BDMs, hopefully. And Ashley's going to be the president of the world. And I hope he'll still have time for us at Spoiled Agent because he has all the potential for all the things. And the presentations are like no other. So we're in for a big treat. I'm not going to talk anymore because I want to give the time for him as he should have the spotlight. I do want to say that he is, as always, uber generous, and the properties love to support because you're such great agents. And they threw in again a prize. Do you want to say what that is, Ashley?
Absolutely. It is a 2 night stay at the beautiful new Zemi Miches Punta Cana Curio Collection Resort in the Dominican Republic. And that is going to be opening up. See, at the time of this right now, in a little over a month, guys. So you'll have a chance to experience it before really pretty much anyone else as soon as you can make it down there. So be sure to stay tuned in for the duration. Obviously, we love the engagement and everything as well. And I'll make sure that I spend some extra time here for Q&A at the end. Sabrina, anything else you want to handle as far as how that all flows? I know these are very well trained advisors on here that are ready. They know exactly how to communicate with us.
They know, but you know what? Sometimes we have new people because people talk about spoiled agent all the time, especially when it's TA month and you've got
Woo!
partners like Hilton throwing spoiling their way. So there's contests happening every day and we get new and new and new. You should see our engagement and Facebook is just crazy. So if you haven't done one of these with us before, welcome, welcome, and thanks for joining. This is going to be recorded. So if you absolutely fall off your chair of the beauty of the Hilton properties, which might happen, you can get back up and press play later on YouTube, no problem. Or if you need to show your clients or talk about this, or you want to refer back to it later, it'll be on YouTube, of course, LinkedIn, as well as Facebook, and in our webinar library with spoiled webinars. Don't you worry, I'll pass you all the links. Okay, so it's going to be recorded. And if you have questions, again, this is the master of all masters of everything Hilton All Inclusive. So please, please ask him because he's been asked these questions before, I'm sure. If you have a question, ask it. Now, again, you don't have to ask a question to qualify for the prize. All you need to do is stay on until the presentation's finished. Now, if you're on any of the social channels, not in Zoom, but social channels, please add your email for us so that we can add you to the draw. And you'll be seeing that winner name announced next week, maybe Wednesday, and things. We know there's a holiday weekend in the US coming up, so we need a little bit of time to get that drum going. Make sure you tune in and stay on with us till the end. Now, if you do have questions, help us out. As you can see, the chat box is blowing up. So help us out and just throw those into the Q&A box. I can see there's already a few questions in there. Hi from Canada, BC. Hi, Deirdre. Let us know where you are. I'm in Kelowna. And let us know any questions you have, because that will go in a full report also to Ashley, and we'll read them out once the presentation is done. So thank you, everyone. And without further ado, Ashley, I'll let you take it away.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much. And thank you again, everyone, for tuning in today. Really appreciate the participation, appreciate the engagement, and we'll be sure to get you some amazing updates, get you a little bit of a preview, a glimpse of Zemi Miches, and all the other things that you're looking for from me today. So without any further delays, here we go with the map of our current all-inclusives. Now, the last time I did one of these was back in January, and we have added one additional resort since then, not counting Zemi Miches. That one's not yet on this kind of resort count here. If you notice right there, Greece now has 2 locations. So I will talk about all of the resorts in our portfolio very briefly, just making sure we know how to properly qualify all of those amazing all of those amazing clients out there that you have. But before we do, get into all the resorts themselves, I'd like to do an overview of some of the things that are key to our market. And the way that I always start this out, for those that have tuned into some of my updates in the past, I ask this simple question: why us? Why Hilton All Inclusive? What makes us, as I say, the extraordinary all inclusive? You see it behind me right here. You saw it in the title of the webinar, Extraordinary Updates. Well, it really boils down to these 5 key pillars right here. Now, for anyone who's seen these before, I always kind of try to take a little bit of a different approach each time, refresh, but honestly, everything still lies on the foundation of Hilton hospitality. So we are a hospitality company that has been out in the hospitality industry for over 100 years. That's a century plus since Conrad Hilton opened his first property. And his wide words of spreading that light and warmth of hospitality is something that all of our team members stand by, no matter whether it's sales, marketing, of obviously all of our amazing team members on site. And that is what every guest is going to feel and experience when they have a vacation at any of our Hilton all-inclusive resorts. And that's really the foundation on which everything lies, right? For those of you familiar with Caribbean Mexico, that really genuine service hospitality, it's really it so closely fits into what we do here at Hilton, and then so everything builds on the foundation, as I mentioned. Now, as far as tangible selling points, the biggest one is down in the bottom corner. That would be our culinary aspects, right? And I'm going to illustrate that some of the visuals that you're going to see, especially with like the dining venues at Zemi Miches, as we delve a little bit more deeply into that towards the end. You'll see what I mean when it comes into the immersive spaces and things like that. And I'll get into one of the other pillars, but also it's about having options. I consider us more of like a sophisticated family-friendly brand. Think of a lot of concepts that you would find in luxury and higher end EP resorts. Concepts that were really in the all-inclusive, more slated for adults only properties in the past. Well, now we've infused those into family friendly spaces. And that's not to say that we don't have adults only or adults oriented places, resorts, areas on site. I use my own family and my kids as an example. They love sushi. That's like my kids' favorite thing. They're 7 and 9. I mean, they're gonna bankrupt me with the food bill. But at the end of the day, we really enjoy sitting down to a nicer dinner, feeling like we're out and about. It's one of those things where, for me, there's the next evolution of family travel. And so that is really one of the biggest selling points. But of course, we also have well-rounded entertainment. I mean, there's so many resorts and brands out there that really specialize in one specific thing. So maybe it's a lot of like, splash huge water parks and, or maybe it's crazy nightlife all the time. We've got a really well-balanced amount of entertainment, nightlife that's family-friendly, enjoyable, engaging. And that also includes things for the adults early in the morning and midday, whether it be your exercises by the pool, but it could be sunrise yoga classes. So there's a lot going on. Our entertainment teams really put a lot into making sure it's a well-rounded offering, because obviously guests are spending majority, if not all, of their vacation time at the resort when you're talking about all-inclusive guests. And while we ask, I always suggest rather that people go and explore the regions. Travel's about, having enriching experiences. It's really important to make sure that if they're going to be on property, they're getting the most value for their vacation, and that it's all taking place in right there, breathtaking locales, right? So it's one of the things that I've been saying since I've gotten here at Hilton. And once I started asking people like, okay, what's your perception? I mean, Hilton All Inclusive, very new. A lot of people saying, oh, I didn't even realize you had all inclusive a couple years back, right? We've definitely grown our our awareness in the market. However, people still, a lot of times, and maybe not so much in the industry, and for those of you out there listening, but the clients might not think beautiful resorts that complement their local environment and really are differentiating and beautiful. And you'll see that as we go through. They might think of that city hotel, or they might think of that airport conference hotel center and whatnot. So it's really about reframing what your clients are thinking when Hilton comes to mind. There's the comfort of the brand, there's the knowledge that we're leaders in the hospitality industry from a global standpoint, but that we're also these breathtaking, unique resorts in all these beautiful locations. And we'll see more of those in a few minutes. And then for those of you out there that are into social groups, events, and things like that, again, I know I've been mentioning our time in the industry, but it's not something to be taken lightly. Over 100 years of experience in all sorts of different shapes and sizes of groups, whether that be small family get-togethers, little elopement, destination weddings, all the way up to multi-resort buyouts. We can handle it. We can pull it off. And we know that that is still one of the biggest growing segments of our market is the social groups and the experiences and the fact that like people don't want to be amassing things, they want to be amassing memories, and that's something that we can help them provide together through our partnership. So it gives me a good segue into the next slide, which talks a bit about weddings, social groups, and things of that nature, because this is a really core. I realize that maybe everyone in the audience is not currently, or maybe aren't currently booking destination weddings, or their focus may not be on groups, but it's a really important segment of the market where you can start your own kind of come along trips. You can lead groups. You can find local businesses that might be able to throw things together. We've had radio stations broadcast from the hotels, so there's all sorts of different options. And of course, the biggest chunk of that business in our segment, on the advisor segment currently is destination weddings. And as I gave a shout out earlier to my amazing colleague, Gina Johnson, who's based down in Texas and really not only helps me cover a lot of ground in terms of, connecting with the advisors out there in US and Canada, working closely with some of our great wholesale partners. She also is our head of weddings and celebrations, and she has curated 4 specific wedding packages that range from the signature or entry level package all the way up to the cherish capture, which includes not only extra event hours, but even like photography package and things like that. These are available at every single one of our Hilton all-inclusive resorts in the portfolio, and they can also be customized and tweaked. They do vary a little bit in price based on destination. So obviously one in Tulum is not going to be the same as one near Cancun. It all has to do with like sourcing the venues, but it gives a great starting point and a way that you can consistently represent our entire portfolio for those of you doing weddings. And also keep in mind, if you make the reservations, through any of your preferred partner wholesalers, we're available all throughout any of those partners out there, Canada and the US. And whether you get the group contract, sell through the allotment, you're going to get those benefits. And then as far as the wedding celebrations, the wedding packages themselves, and all the ins and outs, no matter how little or more you want to be involved with that all takes place with our amazing wedding teams at the resorts, who I can see on a daily basis do an absolutely phenomenal job of making sure that they are communicative with any advisors, with obviously with the valued couples that are getting married. So really important part of our social group business. This one right here also gives a bit of a snapshot. Now, I don't have 2 different versions of the slide. So in Canada, it would be more of like passengers, and in the US, it would be a little bit more based on the rooms. But essentially right here, and it also includes Zemi Miches, which is not on this updated slide just yet. Essentially right here, you've got about a quarter of the year right on the main holiday season. We're already long through this, and then pretty much right in here for the majority of the year, 8th room free. Now, this is available through flex groups or through contracted groups as well. And we provide you with a maximum of 5 comps per social group. Now, we have different tiers, and this is pretty easy breakdown. Anyone who's experienced with groups will understand this. Basically, up to 39 rooms, it's $100 per room deposit, a lot of flexibility, and we allow you to add an additional 20% more to that group block without changing the terms. As we go up in tiers, you're going to notice cancellation things change a bit, but the value really is in those comps. And that's why I said, I mean, if you've got a social group leader or someone that thinks they could get together a handful of people to travel with them, essentially their room could be free. They could earn it. So a lot of different ways to tap into social groups with us here at Hilton All Inclusive. All right. Now, let's get into these beautiful resorts that I've been talking about. Now that you know why Hilton All Inclusive, now that you know why us for social groups and why we're unique and how these resorts are different from the standard first to mind that maybe some people have about Hilton. Let's talk about the beach specifically. And actually, the last one that I had a chance to stay on vacation here, the Hilton Cancun, which is pictured here, is also on this next slide. And it was the first new opening, the new build opening that took place once I joined the Hilton team. So it's about 3 years old at this point, but it was a new build, and it's actually just 15 minutes south of the Cancun International Airport. So this one, great modern contemporary Mexico. One of the things that we really loved about it during the hotter days is you can actually walk from one end to the other fully in air conditioned hallways, which is fantastic during those summer months, but lots of open air dining is available as well. We have areas here that are specifically designed for more of an adults oriented experience here. We call that like the chill pool area. But then we also have a full blown family section here that are kind of naturally separated. And we share through our world class convention center space with the Waldorf Astoria EP property. So that is also where spot treatments will take place. And my wife actually had a chance to take advantage of one of the Waldorf spot treatments, said it was one of the best she's ever had in her life. And she knows spot treatments. So very happy to say. And one of the other cool things here is many of the rooms, this is just some key high selling points. Many of the rooms face towards the ocean. We also have a great, it's not pictured here, this is a little bit older photo, a like basically a sargassum barrier. It's like a netting off the coast, very, clear line delineated within our beach area that keeps a lot of that seasonal seaweed at bay. So it's a really nice selling point for folks who, even though I wouldn't call this like a premier beach type property for hardcore beach lovers, it's a great little thin strip of sand that you can walk along. And we definitely do the best job in that entire region at making sure that it stays very well manicured all throughout the year. Now, moving down to the southern end of the Yucatan Peninsula, we have, of course, the Hilton Tulum, the biggest resort in our entire collection. And this one's been going strong for a little over 2 years. Now, you'll notice here we've got this beautiful natural beach cove. And then the resort really wraps around very gently, a totally different design here. So you actually have this broken up into separate casas or houses. There's actually a total of 12 different buildings, but they're connected in, like, say, two buildings would be considered Casa 6 up here. That's going to be close to all of our family activities. Now, there's a dedicated family area restaurant, splash pad, bi-level kids club, teens lounge, a lot of things here. And then any of your room categories that have family in the name are going to be in these buildings right in this area. Then the other rooms, whether it be oceanfront, ocean view, tropical view, they're all going to be in some of these buildings here. Then as we sweep over, you'll see these are the rooms that are for the enclave guests. And I'll talk a little bit more about that too, but it's a great way to pinpoint where your guests can stay along this stretch of the beach. Now, I did tell you where we're, or about how far we're located. We're an hour and a half currently nonstop transfer from Cancun International Airport. But for those of you who have flights into TQO, the new Tulum airport, it's an hour away. So it is a little bit closer. And I can say for folks that can fly into TQO nonstop, everything that I've heard, I haven't experienced it myself because I have the nonstops from my town out of Cancun, or into Cancun rather, is that TQO is a really nice airport. It's very quiet, easy to get in and out. So it's a great option. And we definitely want to support the flights that are going in there so that we get more of those options as this region continues to grow. One of the other things that I wanted to point out here as well is just proximity to the Tulum ruins, about 8 to 10 minutes down the road. You've got the main pool complex here, a majority of our restaurants with indoor and outdoor seating. So a lot of versatility. And we share a second smaller beach cove. I say share, but it's adjacent to the Conrad EP Luxury Resort. So that is going to also share the convention center, much like the way that we're set up in Cancun, but more spread out. And then guests here would also be able to take advantage of the Conrad spa. So a really great selling point there as well. All right, so now let me hear it from the Vallarta fans out there. I want to see some interaction from folks who love Puerto Vallarta because it is my personal favorite destination. Just such an amazing culture. Oh, look at that. I love it. We got a bunch of Vallarta fans out here. So I have a personal love for this destination because it really reminds me of a great combination of like Mexico with like almost a Hawaii visual feel based on where we're located. Beautiful Pacific waters, breaching whales right on Bahia de Banderas. So you get to see this amazing sunsets on the water. Our resort features all oceanfront rooms, as you can see right here. And we're only about 20 minutes south of the airport and less than 10 minutes from the romantic zone, 12 minutes from the Malecon. So we're very easily accessible to and from town. It's a much quieter area, much clearer water than what you get in most of the resort locations in Greater Vallarta and Riviera Nayarit. And as you can see here, we back up to the mountains. As I mentioned, the ocean views. We also have now have an adults only pool over here, a family friendly pool, and a brand new kids club. We've got a rooftop deck, and I will say this is a fantastic resort for adults that don't mind seeing some kids around seasonally, and also for families with the younger kids. Would be a bit of a stretch to have some teenagers here because it is a little bit smaller resort with 444 guest rooms, but encouraging guests to go out and explore, taking advantage of the beautiful vistas, or you could just spend all day looking out on the balcony and get room service. It really doesn't matter. It's an absolutely phenomenal location. And thank you so much for showing Vallarta that love. I know, between Cancun International, Punta Cana, that region, and all these resorts and all these new openings, I don't want this destination to get forgotten about because I know it's not as easy to get to, but honestly, from some cities, I should say, it is such a great, great, great location. So don't sleep on Vallarta. All right, now moving back over to the Yucatan. Not exactly sure why I did it in this order, but who cares, right? It's just it's all amazing stuff. So this is our Cancun Mar Caribe, and this is our newest addition to Mexico in our resort portfolio. Okay, now this one I did see recently on Let a Group here a week or so ago. It was fantastic. They had a great time, and I'll point out a few amazing selling points. First off, you guys are aware of where the Iberostar Golf Club is, the new Hyatt Vivid. That's all right, kind of back in this area here. That gives you a reference point as to where the resort is. But obviously, as you can see, we're right on that world-class beach in the heart of the Cancun hotel zone. All of these rooms, except for maybe a few of the ground floor level right along here, are actually going to be either ocean view or full-blown beachfront, oceanfront. And these rooms right here in the front of the resort are for our enclave guests. Again, another separate bookable room category, and I will go into detail on that and show you all the resorts that have that. Enclave guests would also have access to this private kind of pool lounge area up here, but we've got a multitude of different restaurants between excuse me, more of like a culinary showcase buffet, our Mexican restaurant Maxal, and a number of different dining venues that actually have these breathtaking views of the water and the sunsets over the Nachupe Lagoon. So no matter what, even though we don't have rooms facing out with the sunset views, a lot of times when you're dining a la carte dinners, you're getting that sunset view, floor to ceiling glass, or out on the balconies. And again, the location, the beach, all of it amazing. And as I mentioned before, we have the enclave here. This is our version of club level, is the way I put it. So think of it like the elevated experience that you definitely want to include in all the quotes for any of our resorts that offer it. And you can see them all pictured here on the screen, because you don't want those guests to walk by that lounge and say, oh, why couldn't I go by the lounge? Or why couldn't I get into this pool area? It's a great upsell that not only includes added amenities there, but you also have access to, private check-in and check-out. Kind of like a semi-private shared concierge butler type service. It can do other things on property. There's you can see here, actually we branded as Club Azure in Zemi Miches, but it's the same type of concept. You've got exclusive, a lot of times, pools, restaurants, and then, like I mentioned, that lounge, and we can show you very briefly here what that lounge looks like in Cancun Mar Caribe. So it's a really great set of added values that are separate bookable room categories. So I referenced that again, because if you're looking for rooms in any of these resorts, Cancun Mar Caribe, Hilton Tulum Riviera Maya, Hilton Vallarta Riviera, Hilton La Romana, and of course the Zemi Miches, you'll see the room categories reference enclave. You'll know that they're in those preferred room locations, but sometimes, like in Tulum, they could be, ocean view, oceanfront. So just keep that in mind. And again, give those guests access to everything. At least let your clients know what the value is there and that it's available. Take advantage of that. All right, now, for those of you guys familiar with Curacao, excuse me, one of the resorts that we've had on the map for a couple years has been the Mangrove Beach, which is going to be our more casual, lead-in, entry-level type, all-inclusive experience. It is part of our Curio collection, but it is definitely much more of that laid-back, Dutch Caribbean, European style, definitely a little bit higher on the value end, a little bit lower on the price end. But I will say this, it is a fantastic resort. The staff there is incredibly nice. The resort is really well laid out. Again, recently renovated within the past couple years, and you've got our own little private man-made cove beach here that's great for snorkeling, very calm. You get those trade winds coming through, so it never feels like torturingly hot, at least in my experience. You've got this water park here that's completely included, a really great asset, and we're close to the cruise terminal, as well as within about 15 to 20 minutes walking from downtown Willemstad. And then what we've added here in the last year, so this one's going to be celebrating, or it's been around a year since we opened the Reef at Mangrove Beach. So this is much more like a North American clientele type experience that gets full exchange share privileges rather with the Mangrove Beach. So Mangrove Beach guests will not be able to come over to the Reef, but the Reef guests can go over to Mangrove Beach. It is definitely a little bit more elevated experience, brand new build as of last year. And then we've got multiple different open air restaurants along here. Actually building up a little beach club nearby as well. So it's a really great option for guests that are looking for that, still more of like a, I would say, Dutch Caribbean style laid back experience, but with a little bit more of the things that would like 24-hour room service, things that the guests from North America would expect. All right. Now, I want to talk about the ones that I mentioned at the beginning, right? Because we have these two resorts in Greece now. The first one, which I have talked about before, is, of course, excuse me, our Domus Alisalunda. This is an adults-only resort here on the island of Crete. And this was added to our portfolio about a year or so ago, and it is an excellent option. It's available with some of the main wholesalers out there, Canada and the US. You can see here, very boutique in size. At least I would consider this boutique in the all-inclusive world at 200 guest rooms. This is an adults only property. And then you can see here, own private little beach club, the resort built into the mountainside with beautiful views out over the water. It's a seasonal property, so it is only going to be open from mid-April until mid to late October. Seasonality similar to like the Northeast and the middle US and Canada and everything. So definitely is going to be one that maybe would be a great option for a bookend to another larger trip to Europe. And then we just added recently, within the past 6 months, the Lindian, actually, no, probably in the past 4 months, the Lindian Village on the island of Rhodes. So this is an actually even smaller property at 188 guest rooms, but more F&B outlets per average. And this is a family-friendly property. So again, on Rhodes, another island off the coast of Greece, somewhat accessible. I mean, from main thoroughfares, you could get a flight to Athens and then hop over here. It's not asking too much, but it's another great way to add or enhance people's trips to Europe and give them a way to kind of, ease into their trip or ease out of it, or both. Or if they really want to just explore, come out here, stay, and then just go around the area. So giving you some other options out there other than, of course, just what's in the Caribbean and Mexico. All right, so now I do want to touch on briefly the few of our resorts that are part of also the Playa Resorts portfolio. Now, I'm not sure when everyone will be listening to this, paying attention here. As far as I'm concerned, they are 100% a part of our portfolio. But as many of you who are up on the news with all inclusives know, that Hyatt's made a play to acquire the Playa Hotels and Resorts. So we probably should have a lot more clarity on exactly what all that's going to look like by the end of this month of May. But nonetheless, I mean, I was just down here. We did a site. I love the team down here. They're beautiful resorts. You've got the Hilton Playa del Carmen adults only right in the heart of Playa on Fifth Avenue and on the beach. Wonderful. And they've actually done another one of these beach barrier projects, because I just saw this property last week where the seaweed, the sargassum, when it comes near the coastline, this is kind of a Playa del Carmen activity, or rather program that they put in place with this beach barrier that basically blocks a lot of that sargassum coming up onto the beach. So it's really been showing well. Again, this is an 18 and up adults only property, but it's all about the location, being right in the heart of Playa, in between Cancun and Tulum. It's just, you can't go wrong for groups or for even single travelers. Great place to socialize, very active daytime atmosphere. Then, of course, you have the Hilton La Romana, which again has our enclave experience. We've got the adults only side set on Bahia Jibe Beach, a completely sargassum-free protected beach area in Punta Cana. I mean, I consider it La Romana, but you fly into Punta Cana, 45-minute nonstop transfer to get over here. And this resort is half adults only and half family friendly, with anyone 18 or older being able to come and go between both sides. Killer water park here. Great, fantastic staff. That Playa service from the heart really shines through with this property, and it is also a great option for us in the DR that's currently open. And then last but not least, in the Playa portfolio, we also have the Hilton Rose Hall. This one is undergone some really recent common area transformations, but I cannot tell you, there cannot be a better value in Jamaica for families than this property. The largest water park in all of Jamaica. We're only about a 12-minute drive from Montego Bay International Airport, but have one of the nicest beaches in the region. Beautiful, wide, white sand beach. Not even this area that's pictured here, but considered like this whole space it added to the end of the property. So it's a massive amount of land. The property is almost like a historic landmark at this point, full blown, all inclusive, golf course affiliated nearby, and even a historical aqueduct that comes down from the mountainside over towards the water. So it's a really, really great option for families, and it's one that we're proud to have in the Playa and the Hilton all inclusive portfolio. All right, guys. So now we got the whole review out of the way. You guys are all caught up on everything. Now it's time to learn about where someone definitely who is on this webinar will be going after we're done, because anyone who tunes in throughout the entire duration is going to be in the running for, of course, a 2-night stay at this gorgeous property, a brand new build that is going to be opening in just about a month, June 30th, and that is the Zemi Miches All-Inclusive Resort. Again, another one of our curio. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, bring the love, guys. Look at that. Celebrating. We're loving. I mean, I'm embracing all of this. And I gotta tell you, this will undoubtedly set a new benchmark for what Hilton All Inclusive is capable of. I have had some colleagues, for those who are familiar with the Dominican, I forget what they call Dominican Tourist Exchange date. That event just took place a week or so ago. It's a lot of like the wholesale folks and high level executives making big decisions on big things, right? And we actually hosted a lot of folks over here to get a hard hat site and to see the property that's coming along quite well. And they were not only stunned by the beach, by the location, by the layout of the property, but they were really wowed by the rooms, and that they basically look exactly like the renders and the pictures and things that I'm going to show you. One of the other things that I'll point out is notice all the greenery and the lushness. This is really an eco-conscious, eco-minded resort. You can see here on the tops of the buildings, the solar panels. Really what I think the Dominican Republic should be proud of, and what they've done with this property, what we're doing with this property, is actually leaning into what makes the Dominican Republic so beautiful. And so many of the resorts over the last number of decades that have gone in tend to be these big, monstrosity. They're beautiful resorts, but they've lost some of the natural beauty and also the personality of the region, the Taino culture, which is local to the greater Dominican Republic, Punta Cana region. This is something that the resort will highlight inside and out. And one of the other things, this gives me a good example. We'll zoom in on this in a moment. I don't know if they'll be available right at opening, but do you see these like kind of buildings right here? These are bungalow category rooms. So this is an upgraded room category that gives you like either a shared or full-blown bungalow right here on the beach, access to your own restaurant here, in addition to all of the wonderful dining venues that I'll showcase that are available up here in the main area. And then as you can see, most of our guest rooms are going to stretch all along here. And even the building, the way it's laid out, is to give like a wave, a natural kind of coastline. You've got whales here. I mean, a lot of things that are really great off the coast, and the beach here is protected much like in Bayahibe. So from everything that I've seen and what I've heard from all of our local teammates down there, no concerns over sargassum seaweed and those things as well, even when seasonally it's in other areas. Now, as far as the stats on the resort, they're coming up on the screen here. There you go. 500 rooms. So again, not a monstrously sized hotel, generous enough to feel like, hey, there's going to be enough social life going on, going to be enough to support as many different food and beverage outlets and culinary options that we have, as you see there. An amazing event center for any kind of groups that you might be able to throw at us, and then of course multiple pools and all the other top class amenities. I mean, this really is positioned as a luxury all-inclusive property. Now, as we look at the location, and don't get kind of switched up here, the map, we should reverse the colors on this, because honestly, this tan area here would be representative of the water, and then this area here is representative of the land. There's Miches. Here's the Punta Cana International Airport. We're an hour and a half nonstop transfer to here. So very similar to Cancun and Tulum. You've got Punta Cana to Miches right here, and you can kind of see the subset there, but it is a new kind of sub-destination within the greater Punta Cana region. So plenty of flights to get in there. Always recommend nonstop transfers, but I've heard that the drive is actually quite a leisurely stroll along mostly highway with mountains inland and kind of rolling fields over towards the other side. So it's a really nice drive on the way in, and of course on less so on the way out when you have to leave a paradise like this. Now, as far as what the resort looks like inside, this is when we get into these immersive, breathtaking spaces, as I mentioned, right? We really want to, again, lean into modern boho chic design, the eco-conscious and kind of the wellness concepts you'll see throughout. But one of the things that I notice every time I look at any of these images, whether it's the main lobby fountain area, whether it's our incredible lobby bar, Here you can kind of see a glimpse into what looks like our culinary showcase style buffet. But you have so many different great vistas, floor to ceiling glass windows looking out over the pools and the ocean off in the distance. It's a really stunning property. And then as we go a little bit further, you can see the rooms also highlight not only the beauty, the decor, and extensive or significant square footage, but you also have room categories with plunge pools, with oceans, with walkouts. And you'll see here Dominican artwork and Taino culture inspired decor throughout the rooms. So again, a lot of that modern chic design, really great looks, unique, and a lot of personality comes through in this property. Now, as for some of our dining venues, F&B outlets, culinary options, this isn't just a coffee bar. It's actually a fresh juice bar with all the other caffeinated beverages you could want. So you can get that natural, fruit and vegetable based energy if you're living the green lifestyle, or, again, you can also have any of those energetic coffee drinks that you'd like. And look at this, in every single place, you've got the plants and the hanging greenery and everything. So it's really something to be conscious of because did our best to highlight a lot of the lushness and greenery throughout. You'll see it here in our culinary showcase style buffet. So lots of different cooking stations. Definitely an elevated come as you are type dining establishment. So again, folks are looking for the flexibility oftentimes, but they want an elevated cuisine and something like a buffet. So I try to get away from even using that term. The culinary showcase described this a bit better, but definitely elevated concept, very immersive. We've got here our tropical bar. This is actually overlooking the pools and the ocean. You see the floor to ceiling glass, the indoor, and look at these pops of color, the artwork on the walls. Really helps inspire, very Dominican inspired, leans into the vibrancy of of the culture down there. But then we also have these great immersive, like Mediterranean style restaurant here in Manikato. We have our open air wood fire grill. So this is going to be more of like a open kitchen kind of grill on the beach, open air. Again, the greenery, the lushness, a little bit more casual style here at Yucca. We have Boba Thai, which is another great restaurant and different. Again, not just Asian, it's Thai inspired. You're going to have some fusion options here as well, but a very elevated style, and everything kind of speaks to the different, cultural aspects of each of these cuisines. But here's the highlight and the one that I like to stay on for a moment, because this is Anaconda, and it is an elevated Dominican restaurant. It's Dominican cuisine, but in an elevated setting that really feels authentic, but also speaks to the luxury of the property. And, it's something that I feel like in a lot of the resorts that have come to the region in recent years, a lot of that like Dominican cuisine is kind of either an afterthought. This is something where it's highlighted, it's elevated, it can be, and at times fused. And we like to give a lot of, creativity for our chefs to really curate wonderful menus and complement the immersive spaces in which you're going to dine. So this is really going to be something I'm looking forward to experiencing myself. And the lucky winner out there, or anyone else who wants to take advantage of our advisor rates, has the option to do so. And then even at night, right? We've got different types of nightlife venues, but this is more of like a gastropub concept. So it speaks to folks wanting to grab a beverage in a sophisticated spot, but also maybe have some additional complimentary menu items and things like that. So not your standard sports bar, a little bit more of like a gastropub gathering place. And we've really tried to elevate every space throughout the resort, and hopefully can shine through. I think this is the only location on property that isn't like the green plant life, highly visible throughout. So how are you going to sell this stuff? I mean, it's as easy as pie, right? When you look at that, well, we're going to give you an even more reasons, because we've got this great opening offer to save up to 40% plus $50 hotel credit, guaranteed room upgrades. So this is available through all the main wholesalers as well as direct through our agent portal. So if you book a tropical view, your clients are going to get the partial ocean. If you book the partial ocean, they're going to get the ocean view. And this is available for sale up until our opening date, but travel goes all the way for a year into the future. So travel before June 30th, or begin their travel rather before June 30th of 2026. This booking window is available, and we might extend this. I wouldn't make any promises, so just keep your eyes peeled. But right now, you know that it's available to you. And for those that might be listening to this on a recorded, on a recorded line, recorded later, that just keep in mind, take a look at the next place that I'm going to show you, which is of course something that I was talking about ad nauseum during my last update in January, because we had just launched it. It's the Hilton Content Hub. So guys, this is a spot. Obviously, you can find it by going directly to our landing page on Spoiled Agent, but this will also give you, it's HiltonContentHub.com, every resource you could possibly need. So not only are there beautiful pictures and logos and things like that, digital brochures, our newsletters that go out, our mailings, and a way for you to get proactively onto our mailing list. We have any of the offers out there. So like the one that I just mentioned for the up to 40% off plus the credits and the upgrades and everything, those would be available on there and current to date. There's even some other little educational videos. So if you need another 5 to 7 minutes of me talking about something, you'll probably find it on there. Even fact sheets for the property. So we're proud of this resource. It is a long time coming and something that we want you guys to take advantage of. So go, visit, help supplement your partnership with us, and take advantage of that as well. So with the being mindful of the fact that I know we usually get an absolutely amazing Q&A session, I do want to make sure that I wrap kind of the formal presentation part here. But one other thing that I want to point out, keep an eye peeled, because we are in the process of bringing in 4 BDMs to help cover ground and make more impactful partnerships with you guys. It's very hard for me in covering all of North America, Canada, and the US to really be visible anywhere other than like major events and things like that. Occasionally getting out on a sales visit or two with some of our amazing partners. We are going to be adding 4 new BDMs to North America. So for those of you guys that are really wanting to continue to ramp up, you can always reach out to me. I'm here as your main contact, your go-to guy. We've got an unbelievable team here at Hilton that oversees all inclusive, but we are going to be giving you some additional support out there as well. So we're continuing to go in the direction to support our valued spoiled agents, our advisor community out there. I was an advisor myself before I got into this side of the desk. I am passionate about this. I'm passionate about the partnership that you guys bring to us, and we really need you to step it up a bit. So I want to just say, for those of you attending, thank you. Thank you to Spoiled Agent for having me. And I know we've got a lot of questions. Looks like we got 36 in the Q&A right now, but I implore you, if there's anything that you want me to cover, I've got extra time built in to make sure that I handle, and you all come away feeling as comfortable as possible with everything Hilton All Inclusive. So thank you again for your time. Sabrina, welcome back. Let's rock and roll.
Wow, look at you, Ashley. My goodness, thank you so much. Really overloaded with amazing comments. And I'll get to the Q&A, as I know these agents are busy, but they're also so keen to learn. And that's the beauty of the difference that they can bring to their customers to keep them happy and coming back for more as travel professionals. So here we go with the Q&A. If you have to run, please don't worry. We understand. But if you'd like to keep learning and take advantage of this time with Ashley, and myself, we will go through some questions, and some of the questions might be something you would love to learn, but by all means, if you need to run, please go ahead and do so. Anyone who has stayed on till this point, not that that's the highlight, but you've qualified for the prize. I think the prize here is getting all this insider info and knowing, all the great perks that there are for you as agents. Okay.
I love that.
I'll be on the island in November. Can I request a day pass or a site so I don't miss this property?
Yes, absolutely. So shoot me an email. And if we don't have my email, we can throw it in the chat. It's probably out there somewhere too in this
Yeah.
in the process here. But yeah, send a note over to me on the day. And then if it's going to be all day, need a day pass, want to do a site, just let me know and I'll connect you with our amazing sales manager. His name is Mikolai, and he can help facilitate that for you. So I'll set that up for sure.
Okay, and remember, if you have questions, they go in the Q&A because the chat is just crazy and gets buried. So there is Ashley's email once again for everyone. I've also got the content hub in there and the link to Spoiled Agent.
Oh, you're the
I
best.
will
Thank you, Sabrina.
be, oh yeah, of course. How about adjoining rooms? This was asked sort of early in the presentation.
Yes, yeah, I don't know if it was specific. So we do offer adjoining connecting rooms essentially are available in most of the resorts. I think the only one that I know it's a bit of a struggle would be Vallarta. But one of the things, if you need to guarantee them, that is still a bit of a manual process. I mean, unless it's a room category that's bookable as a suite. For instance, I know in Cancun we have some suites that will accommodate up to 6 or so, and are bookable as such. You would need to let us know and make sure that, like, again, if you're planning on booking connecting rooms, say in Tulum, Cancun, some of these other properties, make sure it's the same room category with a king and two queen or a king and two double arrangement. Because if you book one in like an ocean front and then you book one in a tropical view, obviously there's not going to be any way we can connect those. So that's one of the start points. If you're hesitant or you're not sure if we offer it, like I said, shoot myself, or when you get your BDM, shoot one of us a note. They'll be able to double check on the property specifically as to what that would be. And there's generally going to be a little bit of an extra cost. It's around $60 a night or so, not per room, but total, to guarantee connecting. Great question.
Okay, perfect. And you've got some really great brand portfolio grids and enclaves and fact sheets, all available on Spoiled Agent. So I'm
Mhm.
also going to throw that back in the chat just to make sure. Of course, we have that separated by market. So if you're a US agent, there's your link. Also, Ashley's information is on there and so much more. And there's a contest for TA Day. So go ahead, and
Mhm.
some beautiful greetings from Ashley himself. So take a look at that. So there are the links, and that is open, of course, 24/7 for you to find some amazing resources. Ashley's worked really hard to get that up to date for you. Which Hilton all-inclusive is best for Christmas for families with really young ones, like a 1 and a
Oh
3-year-old?
boy, that's a good question. I would say honestly, when it comes to holiday time, I mean it all depends. I mean that's a tough one to answer just one property. I would generally say bigger is better just because you're going to have more options, more going on, right? Now again, if you're crowd averse, then maybe go small, right? I mean it really depends. That one's a tough one for me to answer specifically. All I do know is our resorts do a great job of doing like programming, holiday programming and everything. So for the kiddos, it's going to be present and available, and there'll definitely be some things going on. And also, if you're looking for, if it's FIT, no big deal. If you're looking for groups, we really don't do like social groups and contracts and things during that Christmas, New Year's time period, just because of the high demand for family travel. So great question, a tough one for me to answer. That one's not, that was so much more. It's really based on the client's feel and what they would go with, but all of our resorts can handle it quite well.
Mhm. Okay. What is the commission on weddings? Do you know?
I do 10% on the packages. There we don't have a setup for commissions for on the extras because they're completely in most cases through through our partner vendors and things like that.
Hey, and how does this tie into Playa Hotels and Resorts?
Great. I'm glad you asked that. So Playa was actually the one that put Hilton All Inclusive on the map. Before we got the Hilton All Inclusive banner, before I joined the team, Playa was a franchise partner of Hilton. They still are. And what that means basically is like Playa, if you notice, their portfolio has a lot of different brands. So they have some Hyatt, some Hilton, some Wyndhams, all sorts of different brands out there. And so for us, I'm Hilton All Inclusive. So any all inclusive that's in our portfolio, I want to give equal love and make sure that we're talking about every single one of them. The reason why I mentioned about the Playa Hyatt acquisition is just because there are published articles that have been out about this guy since December. And I know oftentimes I try to get in front of the questions that are going to come up. Honestly, because you're talking about two publicly traded entities, I can't really, there's nothing more that I know. They're not going to tell us. But essentially, I'm just giving you some insight that I do know the deal should be done by the end of May. What that means, I don't know. But you know what? Listen, travel industry is perpetual change. The world is perpetual change, and we'll see how it goes. But regardless, they're great options in our portfolio. Having an adults only and family friendly option in one property, being the largest water park in Jamaica. Having a great adults only right on the beach in Playa del Carmen. I mean, you can't go wrong with those options as well. So just glad you asked the question though, so I can give a little more insight.
Okay, perfect. And can you go over all renovations that are on the books for this year and next? Now, that was earlier in the presentation. You might have already covered everything you can say at this time.
Essentially, I did. Yeah. The only other thing that I'm loosely aware of is there going to be some small improvements to like our beach area in Vallarta. But other than that, I mean, a lot of the different work and renovations have already been done. I mean, we had some improvements and some tweaks made to the pool area, for instance, in Tulum, but that was more a result of the hurricane last summer that kind of roughed it up a little bit. But yeah, so that's what where we're at.
Yeah, and Susan, just to note on that, says, I've been at the Hilton Vallarta before you bought it. Love the location, great coves too.
Excellent.
Now,
Agree.
another agent, a couple about if there are FAM opportunities, and then TA rates. But I'll let you answer the FAM one first.
Yeah, so we generally don't we haven't been running like just general open FAMs. What we're trying to do is actually get a couple of those on the calendar for this year. So one maybe late July, another one for later in the year. Maybe I'll escort one, maybe Gina will. You'll start to see a little bit, hopefully, more of those opportunities come available. I'd say a handful over the course of the year once we get the BDM team up and running. We just had such limited bandwidth that there are times where like a specific big account will have a retreat and ask for us to work with them on that, but we haven't done nearly as many FAMs as we would like, and now that we're adding to our bandwidth, we're going to be able to do some more of those. So stay tuned. Our plan is to have ways to announce those and that there would also be like an RSVP form on the Hilton Content Hub. Now, that's not up yet, but just stay tuned because that would be something that's coming.
That's right. Okay, and I'll throw everyone that link again. And where are the advisor rates located?
So the advisor rates are on the travel agent portal. That link is also on our landing page for both Canada and US agents on Spoiled Agent, but it is travel agents plural .hilton.com if we want to throw that one in the chat too. I know you're probably manning
Yeah,
15
absolutely.
different, screens right now, Sabrina. So thank you for multitasking. But
Yeah, no
yeah,
problem. No problem.
travelagents.hilton.com. And then you just go right to that page and scroll down. You'll see a button for advisor rates. You click on that. And then if there are any advisor discount rates available, they will come up.
Yeah, I'm going to send you that direct link right here. So, and then someone else is asking, would there be the 50% off for the new property?
Yes. So any property that's within, I think it's 6 months of opening at least, would actually offer the 50%. And if it looks obvious that that's not the case, like based on pricing and everything, just always take a screenshot, send it to me so I can let the team know. But generally speaking, it's out there.
Okay.
Great
And
question.
so there is a travel agent portal for those who are asking. That's that same
hmm
link that I just shared. Okay, perfect. So I've thrown that in the chat. And then I'm
Perfect.
going to
Thank
go
you.
back to some of the specific property questions. Lots of great questions as usual. Thanks, guys. And again, if you
Absolutely.
have to run, by all means, we understand. We do have a few questions to get through, and Ashley's been so generous with his time. Are there any special rates for birthday?
No, that's an interesting question. I've not gotten that one
Mhm.
before. Are there any partners, if you want to throw in the chat there, maybe in response to that question, that are doing birthday rates? Because we don't have any exclusive rates for birthdays. I guess it's probably, well, I don't know how doable it is because I know at least direct we wouldn't have the technology to collect like birthday
Birthdays,
information
and then you'd have to have that
verify.
discount year round, right?
It
Because
would have to
everybody
be
has a birthday
constantly
every day.
loaded. Yeah, so I don't. Yeah, that one's unique, but good question. I mean,
Yeah, of
we
course.
do not have one. No,
So lots of enclave questions. I'll start with,
love
does
it.
the enclave have butler service?
Essentially, yes. Now, not like your English butler style. I would call it like concierge light, like or butler light rather, or like a semi-private concierge. But they can do like you'd get someone that's going to give you a WhatsApp and connect with you when you arrive. It wouldn't just be the concierge at the main desk, but someone who's set for the enclave area and for a handful or a series of guests to help with anything from like setting up poolside chairs, making dining reservations, those types of things. So it's a really great value add and a fantastic question. And if you want, I can just roll because I see some of the others here.
Hmm.
Enclave does offer premium liquor. Now we have top shelf liquor at all of our bars at the resorts. Sometimes the brands will vary slightly even within the same country. Like maybe you got Kettle is the top shelf vodka at one, and it's Grey Goose at another. So again, some of those are brand preference. But yes, the Enclave is going to have slightly elevated above and beyond that liquors that would be available in the main bars. But even the main bars offer premium liquor at our resorts. Is Enclave available in Curacao? It is not. Curacao does not. Neither the Mangrove Beach nor the Reef have Enclave. Enclave again is available at the Hilton Cancun Mar Caribe, Hilton Tulum, Hilton La Romana, and Hilton Vallarta Riviera. Plus, we have what's referred to as Club Azure or Club Azure, and that is in the that's at the New Zemi Miches. It's akin to the Enclave experience, but the Enclave brand is connected to the Hilton name brand. So if it's a Hilton resort, then you're going to have Enclave. If it's a Curio Collection resort, then they want to have something like that. It's going to have its own name because Curio Collection, by design, is supposed to give a little bit more of that local customizable flair, which is exactly what Zemi Miches and the Reef at Mangrove Beach and all those beautiful resorts do. Do all of our properties have solar panels? The only one that I've seen that does is the newly developing Zemi Miches, but I don't end up on the roofs that often. So it's just kind of funny that I put that out. Because I noticed it when I first saw the original render, and then when we really want to make sure we're highlighting a lot of the very eco-focused kind of approach to that resort, that's one of the things that I point out because it's so obvious there.
And
The
I'll
map,
I'll go
I can
from
do
here,
that.
don't worry, to give you a break. Otherwise, you're
Oh,
gonna
sorry, no worries,
finish
no
your
worries.
voice for the day. No, all good. So can you show that map again? And then do you have any handouts, or would that be sort of the Hilton content hub?
Yes, so the Hilton Content Hub is the place to go get all of the brochures, the fact sheets, and everything like that. It makes it a heck of a lot easier. And honestly, when you're trying to load attachments into emails and then disperse those and send them out on links, no thanks, right? So yeah, go to the Content Hub. Let's drive those numbers up. Come on, spoiled agents, just crash the site with all your visits. Our marketing team will be so well, they won't be thankful if you crash it, but you get what I'm saying. Go over there
Listen,
and get all the info that you need.
I
And
gotta
there's the
tell you,
maps.
your TA Day videos already doing that with so many visits. The agents are so excited to see all the love from all the suppliers, including yourself. So yeah, we've had a
Amazing.
lot of fun with the site and lots of visits. So thanks for the love. So agents, here you go once again, spoiled agents. That's the Hilton Content Hub. Now, further down, Lillian asked me a question I just saw in there. Speaking of the Content Hub, your page on Spoiled Agent, of course, we work with Hilton All Inclusive with Spoiled Agent. That's who is partnered with us to get you the info. We don't have that partnership with Hilton, let's say worldwide. I'm not sure of the official name, sorry. So where would the agents find all of that content on like the European hotels and different things?
Oh no, well, so that's the great thing about the Hilton Content Hub is that is a global resource. So there is a
Perfect.
specific all-inclusive landing page, and you can go within there. Like, I mean, I could, but I want to make sure that people are going directly to that site and exploring. It's very easy because we almost always have an all-inclusive resort highlighted right in the front. That you can clearly see all-inclusive up there as well. But that gives you access to the Hilton portfolio as a whole, anything that is relevant resource wise. Now, do I think that all of these 8,000 hotels, like every little Hampton Inn, is not loading a fact sheet on there, right? So I mean, your
Hmm.
resources are going to be skewed to the resorts that we're working on together because we're the ones that are producing the resources essentially to be on there. But great question.
And then Lillian, yes. So there's the Hilton Content Hub and on Spoiled Agent. I'm looking at a document that is all the all-inclusive resorts, how many rooms, how many pools, restaurants, lounges, kids club, all of that, and their features. So yeah, that is, you're going to find that on Spoiled Agent for all of you. And I'll throw those links in once again, just in case you don't have it, or just go to spoiledagent.com. And if you haven't already become a member, which you probably are, it takes 2 minutes and go for it. It's free. At La Romana, is the beach area between family and adults separated, or is it one large beach for everyone to share?
So it's really like set up like two separate resorts. So I mean, like in most cases, it's not like there's private beaches per se, but I mean, it's set up in a way that like one beach is going to just have the adults on it, one's going to have family. So no, it's not just one big area where it's like, oh, I'm in an adults only beach and there's tons of kids running around near me. That would not happen. You've got, kind of two separate areas. Great question.
Okay. And then how do we get to the Zemi Resort? Are they offering transfers?
So we don't have our own transfers. We do have partnerships with like transfer companies. It would be in addition. They're not going to be included in the rates. Generally speaking, most people are booking with one of their preferred suppliers, a package, or you'd have to go on and kind of piece in the transfers yourself. I know for sure, like Amstar is providing shared and nonstop, and then I'm sure some other carriers in there as well that are providing
Okay.
transportation as you need it. And then also to answer the bungalow, how many do the bungalows hold? It varies based on the type of room, but they're not going to be like my understanding is they're not going to be huge suites. They're not all done, and we haven't let all the dust settle on exactly what the occupancies are going to be on some of those rooms. Once we get open, you'll see that a little bit more. But you can also, if there's anything like loaded on one of your preferred wholesaler sites or on the agent portal, it'll break it down if you plug in your occupancy. If the bungalows are available at that point, it'll give you the options on which ones would accommodate your party size. Because even on our portal or on any of the wholesale channels, you can put in names or I'm sorry, ages and number of passengers, and it'll break it down for you.
Okay. And then a general question, for the properties, how should guests reserve dining? Is there an app? And can you book them in advance, or is it something you do on arrival? How does it work with dining?
Yeah, so generally you do it on arrival, and it's pretty simple. And there's two options. So there is like a nice little desk you can go over to. I mean, even when I've been there over like say Easter break, right? Really was never a line. It's not what you think of like dining reservations. They're strongly suggested to get the dining time, make sure that you can but if you don't want to do them, you don't have to. If you're there during a holiday time, I'd suggest it, but then you also can use like our web app technology. There is a beautiful little, we call it the Easy Go band. So it doesn't look anything like this wristband I have on right here. It's like a nice little decorative twine, and then it's got a tiny little wooden medallion with a QR code. You flip that over, scan that QR code. It's going to open up a web page on your phone, iPad, whatever, and then you can make dining reservations. You can even order room service from there, like for delivery ASAP, or you can schedule delivery for the next day. Like I do that a lot of times in the evening. I'll set up like okay, deliver room service at 7 a.m. or whatever, and then I know exactly when my breakfast is coming, and they're on it. So it's a
Oh,
really nice
wow.
feature. And you can also, again, make dining reservations for party sizes up to, I believe, either 6 or 8. Yeah, so it's a nice feature. Now that's
That
available
is.
in most of our resorts, Vallarta, Tulum, Cancun Mar Caribe, and all that. I don't know if the Playa resorts offer that Easy Go band technology, but regardless, that's something that we are trying to make a full blown brand standard. Great
Of
question. Oh, and hi,
course.
Tammy. I will not be there, but listen, I've been trying to. This is just I'm going to use this platform, to leverage this as well. Thanks for joining. Fire me an email or somebody like get me. I would like to be more involved with the Dominican tourism events. I've had a little trouble getting looped in with them because we haven't really been doing those when Playa has been helping us with a lot of the regional events. But now that we're getting the BDMs up and running, and even if it's something that I can do locally if I'm in town, we would like to be participating in those events more. So, Tammy, if you want to send me, or Sabrina, if you even had to have a contact over there with anybody, I'll take it, and would love to reach out to them and be more present at those events. So thanks for the shout out.
Absolutely. So someone is asking if they heard correctly that you don't get sargassum at one of the properties.
So I tried to specify to the two that we don't really have it. Well, I mean, there's not an issue in Vallarta. We
Mhm.
don't get it at La Romana based on the way that the reef is set up there in Bayahibe. And I have not seen it with my own eyes, but everyone, colleagues and fellow advisors have been down to do, early sites of the property. No sargassum at Zemi as well. It's evidently kind of another tucked in reef protected area there. Then in a couple of our other locations, like Playa del Carmen and Cancun, we actually have like a sargassum or seaweed barrier set up. So in those areas where you really can't prevent it from appearing, it's just going to be there. We manage it in a way that I can look up and down the coastline and see that other properties are not doing it up to our standards. So we try our best in every sense to manage that as best as possible. But you did hear correctly. There are a few of our resorts that do not suffer that issue during the season.
There you go.
Mhm.
And I think this is for the new property. Do you offer trams from the rooms to the lobby?
So again, not open yet, so I can't confirm exactly what it would look like. But yes, because it is a long stretching resort, we will have transportation available. Probably be like electric golf carts or something like that. But we
Hmm.
will definitely have transport available to get folks around a little bit. So, and then as
Okay.
far as cabanas, I would reach out to me and I can connect you again. I go to Mikolai. He'd either link you up with a concierge or whatnot. But yes, you should be able to reserve those in advance. If there is if you email and it seems like that's a problem because again we're not open yet and we haven't established the communication to the concierge team or whatnot, we'll figure it out for you in the meantime. But as far as I know, any of the other resorts, we could get you in touch with the concierge and make those reservations for sure.
And then is this a new property?
Well, let's see. What was I talking about at 138? I'm assuming
It
that
was
was
sort of
Zemi,
the
right?
same time as Zemi, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, yes, brand new property. New build opens on June 30th.
And if that wasn't your question specific to Zemi, then just let us know and we'll get it back in the lineup. When is it opening and how long approximately is this offer available?
Right. So it's opening on June 30th, and the offer is available until June 30th for travel through June 30th of 2026. I'm not saying that we will extend that offer, but we might extend that offer. So that like don't on July 1st, if you missed it, don't just be like, oh, can't sell it now. Just go looking and check.
Yep.
And like I mentioned, that's another reason to visit the beautiful Hilton Content Hub because all of our most recent flyers, promotions, and things like that are going to be loaded there.
Would you find marketing material there too
Yeah,
for the
so
new
images
property,
and
like social media things
I mean, more so like some of the imagery and everything that you could use for social media. We don't have like pre-written script
made
and like
posts?
canned
Yeah.
social media. But quite honestly, I mean, the best content are the ones that are more personal that you can create. I think it's nice
Yeah.
to use some of our photos, but the best way is to get down there, experience it, take your own. Those are the ones that always seem to gain the most traction when I see folks as
That's right.
successful. social
And then
following.
talking about those great opening offers, is that available just through all the channels, all the tour operators?
It is. Yep.
Yep. And
Yeah,
Vax?
Yep, it's on Vax as well.
Okay,
Absolutely.
great.
And the 40%
Okay.
savings is not available by booking direct. No, it is actually available for every. We have a completely even playing field as far as pricing. We're not given the only thing is the, differences in the technology and the way that you book. But I mean, now
Hmm.
again, if you're, if you've worked up a high level partnership with a wholesaler, they're probably going to pay a higher commission. And I always just tell people, look, go do what's best for your business. I mean, we just want to have that support out there, and we work very closely with all the wholesalers. I shouldn't say all. I mean, I know there's some, like, we're onboarding with VE, the Playa hotels aren't an ALG. There's these little subtleties, but I mean, there's always things like that. Generally speaking, pretty much everywhere. If you don't see us on your preferred wholesaler, shoot me a note. And at the very least, I can always clarify if need be, but we should be there. We should be there.
Oh, okay, perfect. And when you are part of the loyalty programs that you have unlimited awards, unlimited rewards, are you
Mhm.
able to register bookings that you made with a tour operator?
You cannot. Now, I will say this, that as you've seen, as we're bringing in some new BDMs, as we're, launching the Content Hub and other phases of what's going to be called Hilton for travel advisors, or Hilton for advisors, that program is going to be phasing out with an education component. Nice way to kind of supplement this. The Content Hub was a part of it as well. But then we are going to hopefully be launching some kind of a rewards program. I don't know what it'll look like. I don't know any details. It might not happen until the end of next year, but it is something that, as we have been talking about ad nauseum since we've arrived internally, trying to get this off the ground. It sounds like we're finally going to get something launched in the next year or so. As for unlimited rewards, that is a program that we already obviously work with. It is for direct bookings, or if you use the GDS. So it's really more of a global hotel program that was created as a benefit for a lot of those, like, business travel folks and all that. But the
Hmm.
landscape of leisure sellers using a lot of wholesale fly to resort destinations is a little bit different, and we realize that. So we're trying to kind of bridge the gap there. So be patient with us,
Okay,
but keep your eyes
yeah,
peeled. I'm sure
perfect.
we'll have a great mega session to celebrate when the next thing
Yes, we
happens.
will, and we'll get it on Spoiled Agent. Okay,
That's
do
right.
you require a personal IATA card at check-in to book agent rates, or can you use our host's IATA?
I
Whatever
mean, you
IATA
don't.
you use in your business, right?
Yeah, whatever you use. I mean, if you're part of a host agency, and they're IATA members, you should have an IATA card. I mean, that wouldn't, and same goes for like CLIA. I mean, that's an acceptable one as well. True. I'm not sure if those are region locked or what, but regardless,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no problem. Just make sure you have your ID. And again, if you're under an advisor rate, will they ask for it? I know sometimes, like, I book team member rates, and they won't necessarily ask, but I mean, I have to do it through my honors login, so it's not like something that someone else could do. I would always be prepared to make sure you have it, because you don't want to get turned away or have to pay thousands of dollars more if you're there on an agent discount. Just make sure you have an active card with you. Yeah.
That's right. Is the Lindian Village on Rhodes seasonal as well, or open year-round?
My understanding is it is also seasonal.
Okay. And okay, we talked about FAMs and tour conductor. Any
Yes, those are
detail?
fire pits in that photo. They
And
are.
those are
Yeah.
fire pits. Okay. We have a little guy who uses a power wheelchair for mobility. Which of your all-inclusive resorts would be the most accessible for him, in your opinion? He wants to access the kids club facilities as well as other areas. Great question.
It is a great question. And honestly, I mean, I've seen all the properties are accessible, and you would be able to get to the kids club at every single one of them. Even like in the main lobby of the original building for Mar Caribe, because that was a structure that was built in about 85. And then we completely gutted but like the owners completely gutted and renovated that entire property. It's like brand new. Over $100 million they spent on it. And in the lobby area, there's like a step up. There is a ramp option around the side, but there's also like a chairlift too. So I mean, that's just examples of when, if right there would be an option for both. And in all of our properties, I mean, the ramp accessibility to everything. So yeah, a little guy would have no problem getting to the kids club and having a great time.
Perfect. And I know we've gone above the hour. We're almost at the end here, but we do have some more questions.
We're
Agents, if
good.
you have to run, we completely understand. So your travel agent portal, I have that link. I will share that. How many rooms can you get with the travel agent rate?
Two.
2 rooms, okay. And do you have complimentary transportation from Cancun Airport to the Hilton?
We
And
do
and pretty
not.
much you don't find it's few that have anything in Cancun, Riviera Maya. I can speak to that personally just because of the taxi union. That's what it's called, right? A sindicato.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Do you offer welcome gifts sent to the room for clients?
Most certainly, yeah, we could do something like that. I mean, if you've got like a VIP and you want to send something nice to their room, the biggest thing I say is make sure you have all the reservation information ready. Like we can't look something up by a tour operator number, so you need to have name, dates, party size, room category booked, all that stuff. And then you want to also provide adequate reference, not too much. You don't want to email like 6 months in advance, but I'd say at least 3 weeks prior to arrival. What's really difficult to get all the moving parts together, because usually it's like someone has to create the amenity and walk it down there. Especially if we're not charging for it and it's something that's just complimentary and a little room drop. We love doing that stuff, but there's logistics behind it. So send an email down saying, "Hey, my clients are showing up tomorrow. Can I get something in the room?" I'll do my best, but I can't make any promises, right? So,
Of
it's one of those
course.
things where advance notice on all that stuff is always really helpful. So, and I'll get off my soapbox, but yeah, always
It's
let
all
us know.
good.
We want
When
to help.
book,
We want to help. We just need a little
yeah,
time,
but it makes it really hard when you don't
Mhm.
have that notice. You might not even be in the office. You might be traveling. Okay, when we are booking for clients who aren't honors members, do we insert our honors number or leave that blank? This is an ethics question.
I like that. Yeah,
I
that's
think
also
you
a
know
good.
the answer.
Yeah, there you go.
They, will the Zemi Miches be offering timeshare programs to guests?
So we don't have timeshare at any of our properties, guys. That's something that I probably should shout from the rooftops often. I know a lot of
Yeah.
resorts in our areas, and so no, there will be no timeshare. I know that some of the owners, because just like the way that like Hyatt IC is set up in most of the modern way, the owners, oh, I love all the applause coming through there. There are owners that see that as obviously a supplementary way to help make sure that the resorts have an influx. Because I've worked for a company that had a very robust membership program, and it was always about trying to manage all the pieces of the pie equally. So I'm going to give you a bit of insight, because I blocked extra time for you guys. This is really important learning time. I'm happy to bestow some knowledge here. It is important. It just can't get out of balance. The same way that you need a good mix of some corporate incentive groups and things like that, with leisure groups, with FIT stays. There always has to be a balance for any resort hotel to thrive properly in those regions, to stay competitive and to make sure that there is constant influx of cash. It is something that a lot of companies do, but it is something that for our brand is not something that we are looking to get into. And because there's multiple ownership groups and getting everyone together and having it's just not on the books at this point. So again, anything could change, but I can proudly say that we do not offer any kind of timeshare programs. And yes, granted, there is something called what is it, Hilton Grand Vacations. But Hilton Grand Vacations, they own all their own buildings. They're like a separate brand under the Hilton overarching portfolio. So Hilton Grand Vacations property is just, it'd be like an RCI property or something like that. Like they own
Hmm.
those, and then they sell those as a membership program, and none of the all-inclusives are part of that portfolio.
Okay, no problem. And at Zemi, since it's higher end, what is the dress code?
So
Do we
I have not
know?
gotten specifics on what the dress code is, but I would always say this. This is how I always pack. Take for guys, and I can only speak for guys. I mean, the ladies, there's so many beautiful ways. You guys are just way better looking than us in general. So you pretty much pull off anything. But with guys is where, I feel like obviously sleeves, collared shirts are nice. Like pack some polos and a couple pair of pants. Generally speaking, like I have gone when we've been on vacation in nice sandals and shorts and like a short sleeve button down, those types of things. So it's not like strict pants, things like that. But again, we haven't opened the hotel yet, so I don't have like clearly established guidelines on each of the dining venues. That information should then be available on the Hilton Content Hub once we get it open and the resort fact sheet is fully fleshed out.
Perfect. And how about top shelf liquor when you go dressed all nice? Is
Mhm.
that included?
It is. Yep, it is. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know what specific brands are going to be at the bar till I get down there and start sampling them, but right. I mean, we do have premium liquors at all of ours, and Zemi Meach is included.
We didn't talk about carajillos. Now make sure you don't have
Oh,
those
that's
with your
right.
super high heels
Oh,
because I don't know how great you'll be walking. Because Ashley, we were talking about those last time.
I remember. I
Is
remember that was a topic we needed to get that in as often as
I know.
possible. I had a
Is
few
Hilton
when I was down there recently.
I see now you're making us jealous. Is
Mhm.
Hilton able to support children and adults with special needs?
So depending upon whether there's like specific, if you're asking about like specific certifications for, other programs and things like that. I mean, I can't say, hey, we have this specific, they say autism certification or something like
Programs.
that. But in terms of being able to support like special needs as much as possible, yes. I mean, it's a tough one to pinpoint exactly. I think it would be based on what that would be. I'll give you an example. Like, even if you're talking about, this isn't the same thing. If you're talking about like the accessibility of rooms, some people need different things in there. So we don't have something like the ADA outside of America with Disabilities Act. So even I don't know what Canada has that version of it. I'm down in the States, so I'm familiar with ADA. Those rooms have to be built to a certain standard, right? You don't necessarily find that there. However, you've got rolling showers, things like that. And as far as other special needs and programs and things, just let us know and reach out, and we can always find out like what ways we can accommodate your clients. We definitely want to be able to do that.
And you have a volunteer if you ever need someone to
Oh,
try top
excellent, Scott.
shelf drinks. Okay,
That
and
always
I'll
always
I'll
helps to get
volunteer
out
to
there.
watch the whales in Vallarta while I
Wonderful.
watch you have those drinks, wherever it's Scott. It sounds exciting. The team is growing. There's more things to experience and potential fans on the horizon. As always, Spoiled Agents, you brought in the love and the engagement and the fantastic questions. We can't thank you enough. Now you need to go get spoiled. Go to the Hilton page, check out their resources, and look at the awesome video and enter to win a fantastic prize. As always, they're amazing and generous, and there's a $100 prize in the Canada Spoiled Agent site and a $100 prize in the US site for Hilton all inclusive, and a great personal message. Ashley, thank you for taking the time to record that message in there, and we'll let you know who the winner of this session is by next week. But again, everyone's a winner. You have 50% off, you have rewards, you have agent hubs, and you're going to have the most pleased clients in the universe when you send them to these properties. It's just clear the level of service and experience is really, look at that. Look at this right on the, I would like to go there. Let's do our next webinar there with a
There you go. That
carajillo.
sounds pretty good, right?
Right? We'll be
Well,
like,
listen,
okay,
I'd need to like, I mean, I'd need to create like a stadium with the amount of people that log on to these guys. I mean, we hit like
well,
over
no, it'll
280.
just be
So,
you and I, and then we'll
oh, got
Zoom
it. And then
it.
we'll do it from there. Okay. I'm thinking
Not
like
that you're not
everybody
all
comes.
invited, but we
Yeah.
would overflow the whole pool. But yeah,
Right. I was
maybe
like,
a
I don't think we
fam.
could
There
fit
you
in these
go.
fire pits, but I love where your head's at, though. I mean, it's all about experiences, Sabrina. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm in. Well, thanks everyone from me. That's all, folks. And I'll let you have any final words you'd like to share, Ashley. Thank you so much for your time and energy as always, Ashley.
Of course, no, likewise. I mean, again, I say it because I mean it. You guys, this is the most engaged audience by far. I mean, you guys is part of the whole Spoiled Agent. I'll call it like a family. It's really incredible. But I mean, I'm really super appreciative, Sabrina, everything that you and the entire team does from Kelly to Susan. I mean, you're like you said, small but mighty, and that really describes you guys well. It is a pleasure to be a partner of Spoiled Agents. It's a pleasure to have all you advisors out there as partners of Hilton All Inclusive. Please know that we are continuing to roll more things out to support you. We love it. We need your support. We love the partnership. And please, if there's anything else that you need, reach out to me. Go to the portal, check out our landing page. Happy TA Appreciation Month for those of you guys that are logging in from the southern part here in the States. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. For those who just enjoyed your holiday weekend up in Canada, I hope it was fulfilling and you got your garage cleaned out. So, or whatever other chores you needed to do. So that was Sabrina and
That's
I
what
had a
I
little
did. That's what I
conversation
kind of
beforehand.
boring,
Yeah.
but satisfying.
No. Listen, hey, I did the same type of stuff here last weekend, so I can appreciate it. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for your support. Appreciate it. Have an extraordinary day.
Bye, everyone.